Now that we've got our some basic context and the building that we want to actually analyze, we'll start with solar radiation analysis first. So I'm going to go to the Analyze tab. This will look a little different on my screen than it will on yours. You're dealing with a few more pixels. But over on the right, you'll see that we've got this button here that says Ecotect Solar Radiation. So we're going to click on that, and we'll see a window pop up here to give us a few other options. For starters, let's change the analysis accuracy from 50 to a higher value. We can just put it up to 90. Next step is we're going to change the sun study setting here. So it right now is set to spring equinox, which I guess is fairly timely. And we'll just, yeah, and it's snowing. We'll click on this button right next to where it says spring equinox, and this just gives us some sun settings, same as it looks in Revit. And we're going to change this from the default, which is still, to multi-day. And then down below here, we're going to change the setting to 1 year solar study. And then over here on the right, we want to check this box right here that says sunrise to sunset. And for some reason, even though we've selected 1 year solar study, where it says date here, it's just giving us basically 1 day to 1 day. So what we want to do here is just advance it to a year after this. So we'll just use this month selector and just select December 31st. Don't worry about the year, that doesn't matter. It seems to always default to 2010 for some reason. We want to make sure that we've actually got a year represented here. And with that sunrise to sunset box selected, it's going to figure out what the appropriate times are for each day of the year. The time interval is set to 1 hour, that's fine. And the ground plane is at level 1, that's also fine. We'll click apply. And now that we've got those two things set up, we're going to click on this button here, which is the cursor here for selecting mass faces to analyze. Click that, and then select, you'll see your screen kind of flicker a bit, and just select the 5 exposed faces of this building. So the 4 elevations and then the roof. Don't need the bottom, of course. Those are the faces of this building that we're going to analyze. Notice that the selector button here stayed blue, so it's kind of just waiting for you to select it again to end the selection set. And as soon as you click that button, then you'll see that it's going to kind of process here, and it's going to generate this solar radiation study. Okay, there we go. Finally some color, right? So we'll turn this off. We'll click close. Somebody will plug in their phone, recharge the battery. And what we've got here is a representation of the impact of the sun on this building throughout the year. And as that little legend suggests, the warmer colors, the reds and the yellows and the oranges, indicate more influence, and then the cooler colors, the blues and purples, indicate less influence. All tailored, of course, for the location that we set up. So this gives us just a basic read on what we can expect from the sun. Now, here's the question to you. What sort of design decisions can you make based on this information? Yeah, so this is going to help you make decisions about things like photovoltaic panels. What else? Let's say your client's got a budget for windows and they say, well, I'd like to do triple pane, but they're rather expensive. So where can I put them to best use? Any sense in putting them on the south? Maybe, but perhaps they'd be better suited on the north where they insulate a little better and where there's less influence of the sun. Similarly, if there's money for sun shading, well, that's obviously put to better use on the south. Now you might look at that and say, well, I didn't need a software to tell me to put sunshades on the south. True, but it might be on faces like this, for example. So you can see the influence of the shade of this building on the west elevation of the face that we're dealing with. So what's the impact there? We can see that generally speaking, we've got not a lot of opportunity for solar radiation on this side. About the same east and west, I guess, but this will help you kind of figure out exactly where certain design decisions are going to have a greater effect.